We've got some great crafts to do today. These are things that you can really do with your kids, and I think they're gonna be a lot of fun. They're things that you can use to make some really special memories with this time of year. And I've got 4 different crafts that we're gonna make. So I've split this video up into 2 parts. You'll see the first part today, and then I'll share the next part in the next couple of days, so kind of give you something to look forward to. But we're going to make a pumpkin centerpiece, and we've got some glittered pine cones that I told you about before. We've also got some bleached pine cones. It's a new version of a bleached pine cone, and it is so easy and fun, and you don't have the smell. So be sure to stay and watch that. And then the last one is the one that I've been building up to that I'm so excited about. I love how it turned out. I cannot wait to share it with you. It's called my thankful tree. And it's something very simple. It's something that you can do for absolutely nothing. It's free. I have a printable on my website at harvestinghome.com. You can go there and download that printable, plus a list of some verses that talk about thankfulness and blessings and giving this time of year. And you can use those verses to talk about them with your kids and teach them about what it means to be thankful. And you can do it completely free. You can get some branches out of your yard. It doesn't cost you anything. And then I've also got another version, the finished version that I have was a very minimal cost. It is not expensive at all, but it's something that I really think that you will treasure in the years to come. And so I hope that you will like and subscribe to our channel. When you hit that bell, it actually will give you notifications about when I've uploaded new content. And I know you want to do that because we have some great stuff coming. We have some Christmas decorations. I've got a Christmas tree that I'm going to share with you that is so special to me. We've used it in our family for a lot of years, and it's something that you can use throughout the holiday season that will kind of put your heart and your focus in the right place. And so I am excited to share some really great stuff with you very soon. So be sure to like and subscribe, and we're gonna get started with our first few crafts now. All right, so we're gonna do one of our projects, and that is glitter some pine cones. We're also gonna do kind of a version of bleached pine cones, but for this, I kind of wanted to keep them natural. So I've got a garbage bag full of just pine cones here that I picked up at our family's cabin. Be sure to hop on over and watch that video. It's a great tour of the cabin. I think you'll really like that. But I've got all these pine cones. They didn't cost me anything. And I'm sure you probably have some around your house where you are, or someone that might have some in their yard that would let you get some for free. So I've got these, and then really the only thing it's costing me is I got some spray adhesive. You could also use some Elmer's glue because then you could actually clump the glitter on these pine cones. But I have spray adhesive, and then I also picked up a couple of things of glitter. I've got kind of a cream color, and I've got this really kind of a nice copper color. And I'm gonna actually try this copper color on this natural pine cone without it being bleached. When we do the bleached pine cone, those are gonna be white. And I'm gonna do it where you don't have that bleach smell. I know a lot of people are really sensitive to that, so we don't wanna do that. And I'm gonna make sure this is all open so we can get this glitter out. Now a little tip I'm gonna give you. I got one of these little plastic tubs. These are the things that a lot of times if you've had to be in the hospital, you get these, I started to say for free, but they're not free. Okay, so I want my glitter to actually fall on the top of the pine cone, just like it's been sprinkled over the top of it. So I'm gonna try to spray and kind of go get it started here. There we go. Really, you can just kind of do it in these little bursts. I think we're good. And now we're just gonna lightly sprinkle, just kind of let it fall. Kind of like it where it kind of gets on the tips of it. I really love this glitter color. This is so fall. can see this. Come in really tight. Let's get that glitter on there. I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle what I can see, and then I'll move those here in just a second so that you can see those. Bring them over here. You can kind of see these are going to be so pretty in a bowl. Okay, so while we're waiting on the pine cones to dry, I'm going to show you just a really quick tip on something that I bought at Walmart. So I bought these really cute signs at Walmart this season, and you may have seen them in my video where I did my fall decorating of my tables. So be sure to jump over there and watch that video if you haven't seen it. I'm using these at each place setting, and they're so cute. They have different sayings, but this side isn't so cute. And when it's sitting on the table, you can see the backs of these signs. I thought there must be a way that we can make this look a little bit better. I thought about painting them. Sister-in-law gave me a great idea, and she said, why don't you use fabric or something like that? And then I thought, what about scrapbook paper? There's so many cute options in scrapbook paper. So look at this one that I found. Isn't this cute for fall? I love this plaid. And so I'm going to actually cut a pattern from this onto my scrapbook paper, and then I'm going to use that same spray adhesive, and I'm going to put it on the back of this, and you won't believe, look at this, you're not going to believe the difference that it makes. So I'm going to trace this onto the wrong side of the paper. You can actually get a couple out of this. Nice thing about this is it's just a very simple shape. Okay, look how cute this is. Coat it really good so it's stick. Okay, so here we were, and then look at the back. Look how cute that is. Y'all, I love this. It makes it look so much better. I can't even tell you when it goes on the table. I can't wait to take a picture. It's just gonna look so good. I can't wait. We're going to make a pumpkin centerpiece, and I've got this plastic pumpkin that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. It was $21.99 but 40% off. And you can see that I've traced a line around the top of the pumpkin, and we're going to cut that out. I have a utility knife that we're going to use to cut this out. Now it is actually plastic, and then inside it is styrofoam. You saw some of my supplies there that I had of some flowers. All of this I got at 40% off. So it really is an inexpensive project to make. Now, after I've traced it, you can see I'm using the utility knife just to kind of cut this out. At some of the seams, it was a little bit harder and just took a little more elbow grease to get it out. And then it's hollow on the inside. Now, because it's hollow on the inside, we're going to need to put some styrofoam in there, and that's how we're going to secure our flowers. And this is really an easy project. Now, I had to cut some of the styrofoam to make sure that it fit okay. They do make some of the circles that are like a dome that might have worked, but I really needed the styrofoam to go all the way down inside of the pumpkin so that I have plenty of room to stick these long stems in. And you'll see why I needed to do that here in just a second. Now, it's all about layering. We talk about this in my wreath video, and be sure to watch that video on how to make a wreath and also how to make a bow. So we're going to start with these leaves and these pine cones, and I'm just going to go all the way around the top of the pumpkin, making sure to secure those stems inside the styrofoam. And this is going to be our first layer. It's very easy. There's really no specific talent to this. It is just about trial and error. So if you don't like how it's looking, then just try something else. So we're going to just put this all around the top of this pumpkin. And I kind of just I'm going to maneuver these around just until I feel like they look really good and that they're inside that styrofoam really good. We don't want it to fall out. Okay, so we have our first layer, and you can just kind of look at it and fluff those leaves out, see if it's all even. And now we're going to start with this is our main flower, and I picked this one. Honestly, I don't even know the name of the specific name of this flower, but I really like the fall color. The room that I'm going to put this in, I'm going to have it on my grand piano, and so it just needed one little spot for this flower. If I had bought this somewhere else, it could have been anywhere from $60, $75, and we're going to make this for about $30. Now this stem is pretty thick, and I have these wonderful wire cutters you'll see here in a little bit that will cut through just about any thickness of wire. So I really recommend trying to find some really good wire cutters. I left this stem kind of long, and you'll notice earlier in that picture that it was about 4 to 5 inches long, so that I had some room to stick it into the styrofoam, but then also keep it somewhat high. And then we're going to build more layers around where you don't see any gaps. So I've got these ivory flowers, cream, I've got some roses. Make sure not to, one thing that's really hard for me is I tend to want to be very uniform, try to match stuff too much, and sometimes that's not the best thing. It's okay to let it just kind of, you want it to look very natural, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You want it to look like it just kind of happened and grew out that way. And you don't, sometimes when you try to make it too matchy, the eye tries to match all that together and it just doesn't look right. So don't worry about that. Just let it, just start putting stuff in there. If you don't like it, you can always move it. Trial and error is something that I really live by. So I've got some really pretty sunflowers. This kind of brings that pop of yellow and gets some more color in there. And here in a minute, you're going to see how it all comes together. There's some bright greens that I want to pull in, and it really just starts to make this arrangement pop. And right now I'm kind of keeping that shape, kind of keeping that round top. You want to keep it in that nice round shape around the pumpkin. And this is actually going to be seen because of where it's going to sit on the piano. It's going to kind of be seen from all sides. So I want to make sure that this is something that can look okay from all the different sides. And I've got some extra picks that are like some acorns. I've got some pine cones. And again, it doesn't have to be matchy-matchy. Just because I put pine cones on one side doesn't mean that I have to have them on the other side. I can put something else. So I'm going to put these pine cones on this side, and then on the other side, I'm going to put some of the acorns. And I'm going to split apart the pick. That pick comes, and it's got several different stems on it, and so you're just going to be able to pull that wire apart. And by doing that, I'm going to get like 3 in 1 out of this one pick. So you can see here, we're going to pull that apart and cut it, and then I can use it's like 3 different pieces that I'm going to be able to use here. And that's one of the things that I love about these wire cutters is they really do work great, especially on really thick wire. So we're going to get these in, and this is when it's going to start kind of just what I would call like the cherry on top. This is just what you call, in New Orleans, they call it lagniappe, just a little something extra. So this is just a little something extra that just kind of helps take it over the top. So these next few things are not going to, they're going to kind of take away just the full rounded shape. We're going to get some things that are a little more whimsical coming out from the acorns and some wheat. And again, I told you about the bright green that I'm going to bring in. I just love those colors. It it really looks great in my living room, which is where this is going to be. And I have some wood trim. I have brown leather couches. I have a lot of cream and ivory. So fall and these colors really, really looks good just in my decorations. And again, when you start to get a lot of these flowers on there, especially, we've pretty much covered all of that styrofoam now. So now you're going to kind of have to maneuver around, kind of pulling back some of the petals and of the flowers so that you can make sure that you secure each of those stems down into the styrofoam so that they don't fall out. And just kind of play with them, especially when you get it, even when you get it into the place that you want to use it for your decoration, you might see which side you like the best. You might just kind of fluff those flowers and just work with it. Now this is that green that I was talking about. And this bright green is just going to give it that extra pop. I love those muted fall colors, but sometimes they can be a little bit dull. So adding this just bright green just really brings out those fall colors. And you don't have to use the same flowers that I've used. You can find things that you like better. Hydrangeas work. There's so many great, beautiful flowers out right now. You could do all sunflowers. So I think this is really starting to come together. I can't wait to show you what it looks like when I get it down on the piano. And honestly, this is so easy. This is one of those things that we can get several different things from one stem. We're going to pull this wire apart. And I'm really not exactly sure what this plant is, but one of the things I love about it is just kind of the varying degrees of green on it. And it kind of has that wheat look. So adding that in there, I'm still getting some of the green. But again, it's helping to just kind of give it that, just that whimsical extra pop outside of just the round shape. It's also going to give it some height. One of the things I talk about in several of my videos is scale. Scale is really important, and if you put something small in a big room, it kind of loses its impact. So I always tend to kind of err on the side of oversized. I think when you go a little bit bigger, it makes a bigger statement. And in this case, because of where it is, I can't go really big. But by giving it a little bit of height with some of these extra pieces, it's just kind of helping it make a bigger statement. Just going to put a little bit more green. I think it needs a little bit more right here in this corner. Again, because we're going to be seeing this on all sides. If your floral piece is only going to be seen from the front, then just focus on what you're going to see from the front side. It's not necessary to go all the way around. But because this piece is going to be seen, it's in a place that you're going to see it from all sides, I kind of have to make sure that it looks good all the way around and it's balanced. I am really liking how this is turning out. I've seen some of these pieces. You've probably seen them on Pinterest and other places like that. And honestly, they're not hard to make and very little expense, honestly, especially if you buy these floral picks and the pumpkin and everything at 40% off. You might even have something in your own stash that you could use. I'm all about reusing. Again, this is just another piece. It's going to bring in a little bit more of the neutral, but it's just one of those. I think it's just going to keep adding some of that impact, some of the height. And I'm going to push that down in there really good. You can see all the different layers. Every layer that you add to it, it just seems to make it just really come alive. And because I'm not doing it uniform, your eye doesn't really know where to go, which is actually really great, because when you see all the different pieces, it just brings this whole piece together in just a really unique way. And remember that centerpiece flower right there in the middle? Look at how much is around it now, and we've built around it. Now the final touch is our wheat. And this makes such a great fall statement. I absolutely love these floral centerpieces that have the wheat coming out of them. I think it's very light and airy. Now remember what I said about when you start getting it filled up like this, you may see spaces that look like they needed something else. That's what I'm doing here. I just wanted to kind of add in a little bit more of the green, and it's a little bit hard to get down to where that styrofoam is so that it will be secure. So you just kind of have to play with it, move some of the petals of those plants around so that you can get it down into the styrofoam really good, and then we'll get that gap filled. And again, once you get it all done, you can begin to just kind of manipulate the leaves, manipulate those little stems to where it looks like you like it. Now the stems of the wheat they're very fragile. So you could bundle several of them together to stick them in there. And now it's not as critical that these go all the way down into the styrofoam, because if you try to push them in there, more than likely it's going to break that stem. But there's enough in this arrangement that if you get it down in there, it's going to hold in place. And so this, again, we just want it to be very just kind of random where the wheat is coming out. So just kind of stick it throughout your piece. You can do a little, you can do a lot. You can kind of see here I've bundled several together. And you may have to make the stems a little shorter. Like I said, they're probably not going to go all the way down into that styrofoam because they're just so fragile, they're going to break. So I'm going to cut these stems just a little bit shorter so that I can get them down in there. But I do want them to be bringing some of the height to this arrangement. I'm just going to kind of play with some of these till I see that I have it where I really like it. I think we're just about done. This is looking really great. I can't wait to show you the finished product. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that you got some great ideas with these craft projects. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you'll be notified when we upload part 2. That's when you're going to get to see the thankful tree, so stay tuned.